Today was a wild day in the stock market as inflation data was released and it came in a lot higher than expectations. Initially, the market got destroyed off of this news, but surprisingly, the market actually went green for part of the day, but ended up red. So today was weird, and we're going to talk about exactly what happened and the most important news you need to know. We're going to be talking about the skyrocketing inflation rate, what's going on between Netflix and Microsoft, and even some news with airlines and a couple other stocks. We have a great video today. If you're new here, consider subscribing and let us know what stocks you're watching down below. But Tom, we're not wasting any time. What happened in the market today?
Yeah, so the big thing that sent the market down this morning, like you said, was that higher CPI data. It came in at 9.1%, and they were only expecting 8.8% yesterday. So it actually came in like 0.3% higher than that expectation, Mike, which is terrible. And then core CPI increased up to 5.9% compared to the 5.7% estimate. So honestly, inflation just kept rising across the board. I know a lot of people were expecting this to happen, but I was kind of hoping that we would have a slowdown, Mike, and the market might have a positive reaction. But nonetheless, we fell off early in the morning. Like you said, though, we did recover back to the upside, and there wasn't really any, real big news or any market breaking thing as of why we recovered back up in the middle of the day today. It just kind of was like the stocks were turning around. The market had a really positive move at market open. It was kind of a stark contrast to what happened in pre-market. You can see the SPY and pre-market was at around 382 whenever the inflation report came out, and then we tanked all the way down to lows of 374. So to see us even recover up a little bit, Mike, was amazing. And a lot of stocks ended up coming back up today, like Apple, Microsoft, and other stocks like that across the board. Looking at my watch list, I mean, even Twitter was up like 7.9% as Elon Musk obviously is canceled the Twitter deal. We even saw GameStop up, JD, Tesla. I mean, it ended up being a pretty good day across the board.
It really wasn't bad. I will say though, this before the market opened, it was pretty scary. Like you just saw the stock market tanking down and like everything was down. Like I remember my watch list this morning, like literally every stock was red. But like you said, some of them turned around. So not bad to see. Tom, can we go back to the inflation report article really quickly? We can see it came in at 9.1% in June. This is obviously a 9.1% increase year over year. So we want to see that inflation rate start to calm down, especially over the next couple months. So just keep that on your radar for the next couple months. But Tom, I know there was also some pretty big news with Netflix and Microsoft. So kind of like a weird partnership and news article to read, but what's going on?
Yeah, so apparently Netflix is actually going to be rolling out an ad-supported tier plan after years of resisting this move, the article says. So they're partnering with Microsoft to do this ad-supported subscription plan, and it sounds like there's going to be some sort of maybe either like free thing with Netflix where maybe you are able to watch things for free, but then obviously you have some ads on there. But then also, there could be like something where it's like a $5 a month plan with ads. I'm not sure exactly how the price or how the pricing is going to come out yet, but nonetheless, it's really cool to see them partnering together. And it also says right here that the Stranger Things streamer, being Netflix, which has been struggling to retain and add subscribers, announced in April it was planning to roll out this supported tier after years of resisting that move. So obviously Netflix doesn't want to do this, but it sounds really good. And they said that Microsoft has the proven ability to support all of their needs as we together build a new ad supporting offering. So sounds really good. The Netflix COO, Greg Peters, has some pretty good statements here, Mike. And overall, it really helped Netflix stock today. If we go look at their stock intraday, it started really popping up. Now, I will say it didn't really affect Microsoft much at all, but hey, I'll take the move out of Netflix. Their stock has been getting killed on the daily.
Yeah, it has been brutal. They basically went from like $700 a share all the way down to like $170 a share. So it's been a really tough year for Netflix, and not only has their growth stopped, but it actually went negative in terms of subscribers, net subscribers added / lost. So Netflix is really struggling, and we can see that they're clearly, they're clearly doing things to turn that trend around. And like we can see in the article, it says that Netflix, which is going to report earnings on Tuesday, expects to lose 2 million more subscribers from this quarter. So that's important. What I do think is interesting is that this can be a strategic partnership between Netflix and Microsoft. Obviously, Netflix can benefit from partnering with Microsoft in terms of just, incorporating all the technology Microsoft has and all of the ads that, they can connect into Netflix, but also it can be strategic for Microsoft because some of their major competitors like Google, Google owns YouTube. And if you look at Comcast, which owns Peacock, Microsoft doesn't really have anything to compete with them, but Netflix can be that company to help compete.
Yeah, that is very true, Mike. I never even really thought about that till I saw it in the article here. But yeah, that you're right. That really is going to help them compete. And they've been doing very well, honestly, the past couple of years. So this will just help boost them up even higher. And, it's good for Netflix too, because as we know, they've been getting hurt a lot recently. And hopefully this helps them out and that hopefully it helps bring more subscribers in for them. But nonetheless, Mike, it really helped that stock out. Netflix on the daily chart is honestly really close to support. Today, we bounced right on that like 170 support, came right back up. If this support ends up holding, this might be a pretty good longer term pickup here on Netflix right ahead of these earnings that look like they're going to come out on like July 19th.
Honestly, I don't think it's at a bad level. I think Netflix has been beaten down significantly. And realistically, whenever you see a company as big as Netflix go from $700 a share down to $170 over the course of 7-8 months, most of the time you at least see some sort of just normal price action bounce from that. So honestly, Netflix is really on my radar. I would not be surprised if we do see a pop back up solely for the form of just price action. Like I said, it's rare to see that big of a drop without at least a little pop up. But as we all know, earnings is very volatile and the market's crazy. But keep Netflix on your radar.
Yeah, definitely keep it on there. Like you said, earnings have been crazy, Mike, and Delta Airlines actually reported earnings this morning. So they reported earnings and it says they actually posted profit despite a jump in cost. So just like what we saw with Pepsi the other day, Mike, they obviously they're making more money now, but that's mainly because they've had a lot of price hikes. So they're pretty much saying that people or travelers are willing to pay more to fly right now, making up for the higher costs. But one issue that Delta is having right now is some staffing problems. So they actually said that they have to cap capacity at 83 to 85% of 2019 levels because of staffing shortages. They're trying to train new staff to fill new roles and stuff like that. So obviously they're having some issues there. They could actually be making more money right now, it says, but they're sticking with a conservative schedule. So very interesting to hear that, Mike. They also issued an apology, actually. They said they actually said it's been a rough 6 weeks and we've issued compensation and the appropriate level of apology. So definitely a pretty big statement there from their CEO, I believe, Mike, or an executive. But nonetheless, that's huge. And I think that this is going to be big for Delta's stock. And going and looking at their stock, Mike, it had a pretty good day. I will say it was very mixed, though, kind of like what we saw with the market. It was down a lot early on, but then recovered back.
Yeah, and airlines are another group of stocks that are pretty oversold. You look at the airlines and the cruise lines right now, and they've just fallen a ton. So keep it on your radar. It's not my favorite setup in the entire market, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not my favorite setup either. I feel like that, getting Netflix or maybe some of these better tech stocks down here might be a little bit better in the shorter term, but nonetheless, it's big for the airlines, and it kind of gives us an insight into some of those other airlines reporting next week. But tomorrow, Mike, is going to be even bigger than the earnings today. So be on the lookout tomorrow morning, guys. We have JP Morgan Chase reporting in the morning. As we know, JPM stock is huge. Everybody watches that whenever you look at bank stocks along with Bank of America. So JP Morgan's reporting tomorrow along with Morgan Stanley. Then we even have Taiwan Semiconductors in the morning. So some pretty big companies there, Mike. I think JP Morgan's going to be huge to keep on the radar.
Oh yeah, it's the beginning of earnings season again. So not only has the market just been crazy in general, but we have a lot of big companies set to report very soon too. Like Tom said, we have a lot of big banks towards the end of this week. So Buckle your seatbelts, guys. The market is going to get even more volatile. But Tom, surprisingly, like even the bank stocks are really low.
Yeah, they are. Like whenever I look at JP Morgan on a daily chart, it's pretty insane to see that they fell from highs of 172 all the way down to lows recently of right around 110. That's a huge percentage drop out of the banks. And a lot of people, Mike, kept saying that whenever rates started going up, banks would do very, very well and they were in a good position. But, you know, it looks like the stocks obviously ended up falling off from this. We'll have to see how the banks end up doing over the next few months as this price stability maybe starts coming into play. You know, Powell's been doing a lot lately to try to stabilize prices and everything. And I hope that it ends up helping the banks out a little bit more than it has been the past 6 months or so, because this has been pretty brutal.
Yeah, and check out the correlation in the bottom right corners around 0.83. So these bank stocks, or at least JP Morgan, has been pretty correlated to the market this year, which is pretty interesting. And then, you know, we can see Bank of America loading up right now at around 0.86. So these bank stocks have been moving very closely with the market, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is, and they're also kind of bouncing off support here. So who knows? Maybe if we see the SPY start to move back up, these bank stocks might be a pretty good support buy down here at the bottom. I'll tell you though, I'm really interested in averaging in, at least starting to average in. I think would be a good idea here, especially with how oversold the SPY itself is. I mean, I can't believe how much that's even fallen off from 480 down to recent lows of like 363 down there.
Very true. So guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day and we have a lot of great things coming. So make sure to subscribe if you like the videos. But Tom, it is now time for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have WBD to the upside.
Yeah, WBD, Warner Bros. Go ahead and make them break up above 1433, right around that high of day there.
All right, with the next one, we have Penn.
Penn Gaming, yeah, the casino stock. Go ahead and make them break out above $30.25.
Right, and with the last one, we have ARK, ARKK, but this one's to the downside.
I was gonna say, Mike, when have we ever called ARK to the upside? But go ahead and make them break below 43.80 for tomorrow. I will say ARK had a pretty good recovery at the end of the day, but you know they're just not looking too hot there at close.
Yeah, and to be fair, ARK actually is pretty good for for trading because it holds a bunch of those growth stocks. So like when they're trending up, like they really, really trend up. And of course, the same to the downside too. But either way, so for ARK, we're looking at it for a potential day trade to the downside tomorrow, only if it breaks below the level Tom listed. And then for Penn and WBD, we are watching them for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the level Tom listed. But I also want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Guggen Stocks. Huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for being a great and active member of the StockedUp Discord. Tom and I really appreciate you. But Tom, do you have any favorite setups or anything you're watching heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, keep your eyes on the gold market right now. Mike, early on in the morning, GLD was flying up. I was actually a little bit upset this morning when I saw GLD flying down so much with that inflation report. But, you know, now that I see it flying back up here and it recovered back up, it actually looks pretty good heading into tomorrow. Actually closed up in the green. So I'll definitely be keeping this on my radar. Also, I'm going to keep my eyes on X, which is US Steel. I know this stock is pretty low in price, Mike. It's also right on a huge resistance level right here, right around $18.20. If I see a big breakout up above that, I'm going to watch X for a possible move back up. It was up 3.26% today with this higher inflation. So I'll take the good move out of X. And last but not least, Mike, don't forget about Twitter. This actually had a really good recovery. There's actually been a lot of reports coming out saying Twitter's going up because Elon Musk canceled the deal, and investors apparently like that. So, hey, maybe Twitter will start going back on the uptrend here.
There we go. Yeah, we can see Twitter had a move today of around 7.9%, and on average, it normally only rises by like 1.77%. And then on top of that, it does have a pretty weak correlation to the SPY right now of around 0.27. So very interesting there. Last but not least, if you guys are looking to take advantage of this market volatility, check out our bot. It's that first link in the description and the comments down below. It's awesome. Today's play popped from 160 up to 186. picks. So a nice little scalp opportunity there. If you do decide to sign up, you get a bunch of bonus features like bonus day trades, swing trade setups, other custom bots, and an amazing community. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long, and it's awesome. So definitely join up. We have a coupon running, and you can cancel at any time. Besides that, let's have an amazing rest of the week.